That's good. Get the microphone. Boom. Scumbag, what up? Rick, I see you. I see you, Mr. Muffin, Miss Tang, always, John Neal. John Neal's out driving. He said he's going to be listening and driving. Please, everybody, hit the like button on the way in. Thank you for showing up for another episode of Culture War Vultures, where we talk about what's making the most popular scandals in the culture war. Right? We got Mr. V in the house. Boom.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with it?
Oh, let's turn this up a little. Perfect. Oh, let me do my Gangish. All right. Oh, what do we got tonight?
So are you gonna give us an intro? You want to give us an intro to cut on?
What's up and welcome to Culture War Vultures. I'm Vegas Prison Stories. You can call me Rick, VPS. As always, this is my dude Gangish from @Gangish. And we're bringing you all the news, all the crazies in the world. We're talking about that here.
We go live every Wednesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, to talk about the latest news in the culture war, to see what's good, just basically all the craziness that's going on in the world. I mean, you can't talk about it all, but we sure can pick a couple and give a little deep dive into them. So, tonight, we're going to be talking about the dollar store. Now, let's be honest, we all know the dollar store. None of us are proud. You don't go there, you know what I mean? It's not somewhere you go because you're proud. It's somewhere you go because it's like a lark. It's fun. It's cheap. It's interesting. You want to know, how can I go get some laundry soap for $1? I want to know what I'm going to get for $1.
I love the dollar store. Call it the trailer park in me. I don't care. I shop at the dollar store. I got one right up the street. I got two. Yeah. It's the Dollar Hauler. We got Dollar General, and across the street, Family Dollar.
Yeah. Okay. And see, each of them have their own lanes, right? Each of them have their own lanes. So, along with them having their own lanes, they've had some of the dollar stores. You know, some of the people that they attract. Not always or maybe the crowd is a little bit rambunctious. The crowd that ends up around dollar store. Let's put it that way. There also seems to be some people who like to steal from dollar store, Dollar General, dollar store. I don't think I can remember being young, and they were a good target. If you wanted to steal something real quick, if you wanted a pack of cookies or something or you needed some socks, if you were on a mission.
Always. Always. See, that's how I know you're gutter. Only gutter people know. Only gutter people have been on a mission to get some new socks because they just been out there getting it. And they're like, man, I need to change my socks.
Sometimes you got to do it. You know, sometimes you need supplies. So Anyway, well, this woman, it seems that the Dollar General has decided that she was going to take matters into her own hands. It seems this woman is she's the manager. And, well, there's been rampant theft, and it's the type of theft that just happens out in the open. And because of this, she's just over it. She's fed up with it. If I had to guess, I've been in management before. Management usually has bonuses attached to it, these type of bonuses attached to it. And in a retail environment, there would definitely be bonuses attached to reducing shrinkage, what they call shrinkage. So, let's see.
And what state was this in?
You know, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the South.
South don't play around.
Yeah, and you can get away with a little bit in the South. You got more leeway, especially with people who've committed crimes. I don't know what there was a lot of people in the comments saying that this woman was about getting ready to get hit for assault. Well, I don't see anything gratuitous in the video, but you guys tell me what you think. Let's watch that again. Hold on. Now, as you can see, the loot, it looks like he's got an igloo cooler here, like he stole an igloo cooler, right? The bike's jacked up. Look at the front wheel. Front wheel's all bent. That bike ain't going nowhere.
I purposely did not watch this because I wanted it to be a live reaction, bro. That is priceless.
Let's watch it again. I think she did a good job. She didn't even hurt him. Look at. Now look at all his loot. There's one brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks. I seen something go flying. Hold on. Let's watch something go flying. There's one already on the ground. Something hit the ground immediately. Now we're about to see a bunch of stuff fly right there. He threw the package. Why did he throw the package?
You think you are stealing from my store? Shut up.
Shut up, bitch.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. Boom!
All right, everybody. This is from the Salty Cracker. If y'all don't know the Salty Cracker, please go go subscribe to them for some of the funniest takes on YouTube.
Oh, man. Listen. He told a story that's the one I was telling you about, the Apple Store theft, where the guy jumps off the second story trying to get away. It goes all bad. He ends up flattening himself out and landing on the tile. And he said, I'm sure they're going to try and sue the white tile for this. I almost died, bro. He says it has to be racism's because the white tile. But it's getting crazy to where, especially a lot of these Democratic places, they're making it, they're not even coming out to do reports on shoplifting if it's not over $1,000. So the stores have in turn stopped getting a hold of the police. And the reason, and then the politicians, they turn around and they turn it into, look, shoplifting is down. No, people have just stopped reporting it because cops won't do anything anymore. And then you have ladies like this that take it into their own hands, and guess what? She'll probably end up getting charged for it.
Well, yeah, that's the people we're going to highlight tonight. We're going to highlight the people that are fighting back, because some of these people ain't playing this. You know what I mean? Some of these people own these businesses. You know, I have a feeling this guy right here. We're about to watch a guy right here. He's about to go toe to toe with this dude. This dude, he sure is struggling. Like he might own the place. You tell me.
Hey, bro. You think I'm playing? Hey, bro. You better go, bro. It ain't working, bro. Hey, bro. It ain't working, bro. Hey, bro. It ain't working, bro. You get my good stuff, bro. Bro. Hey, bro. Hold up.
Deanna, you gonna get the bag. Stop. Get the bag, get the bag, get the bag.
Still scuffling. Look at, look at.
Giving it to him.
Yeah, he said, "Fuck you."
Get out.
I have a feeling that dude in blue. I
Let
think
him
he
go,
might
bro.
be
Just
the
let him go.
owner.
Let
Or
him
he's at least a general manager. He'd fight. Look at.
Bro, you think I'm playing?
Right? So as it turns out, I did some digging into all this today, and there's some instances of things that happened at dollar stores across the country. This isn't just a one-off thing. Where has society gone that this is this just acceptable now? Let me ask you this. This is how it almost seems to me, right? Because whenever the looting started in the George Floyd stuff, the Democrats gave ready-made excuses. They said, "Oh, well, these people have been victimized," and da 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 da. That's the most important thing. Okay. Well, but people are always, like we talked about before, people are always going to take things to an absurdity. So if you're willing to give somebody an excuse for committing a crime, and even though a politician might come out and say something nice and say, well, these people, they're really just reacting out of oppression and da-da-da, and give a bunch of historical facts or whatever, and it says, okay, well, that sounds good, right? There's another philosopher in the hood that's going to say, these crackers owe us money, and we about to go take it, right? Because it's the same philosophy. It's the exact same philosophy. It's just through a different vessel. It's just delivered to the people through a different vessel. Because whenever I was gangbanging, when I was doing my thing, I wasn't worried about what the politicians were talking about. I was worried about what the big homies were talking about. And if the big homie said the politicians... Now, it never happened in my lifetime where they just weren't enforcing the law. This never happened. I don't know what I would have done if they just would have stopped enforcing the laws like now.
I do, because you were a prolific booster. I was quite the lick master myself for about 13 straight years. If it wasn't tied down, I was taking it. And I would have already had this dialed in so well that I would know exactly what products are $990 and the easiest to get a hold of. And we would have already cleared out the entire city of their stock. And then we would have moved on to obviously cheaper items that are half that price once they started pulling the $900 items off the shelves. Like, all they're doing is they're inviting criminals to come in and commit crime. They've decriminalized stealing and theft, retail theft, and there's zero incentive for these criminals not to do it anymore. They're not going to go to jail for it.
Yeah. You have to do it. You have to be caught multiple times to actually go to jail.
Yeah.
You're looking at, I would say, at least 5 to 6 times in a row before you're even looking at any jail time. And then it's going to be like 30 days. I went over to my friend's house a couple months ago, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to the store. You need anything?" I said, "I don't know. Get some cookies or something. You know what I mean? Get something good." I didn't know he was going to steal. You know what I mean? And he grabs a backpack and walks off and takes off, and then he showed back up like 20 minutes later with a backpack full of stuff that he had stolen from the dollar store. All kinds of cookies and, you know what I mean, a bunch of good shit, gummy bears and whatever. With stuff he was high. Stuff he wanted to eat, right? And I was like, I could just tell the way he was pulling it out. I was like, "Did you steal that?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You just brought the backpack in there like that?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Did they know?" He was like, "Oh, yeah, they know you're stealing. They don't say nothing."
Listen, my little brother's in here right now. He can tell you, from the time we were probably 21 to the time we were 26, we never once went grocery shopping. What we would do is you go into these supermarkets and they have garbage cans, and you put the garbage can in the cart and you're pushing it around, and you get all your meat and all that, and you're throwing it in the garbage can. Then you just run out the back door where your homie's sitting with a truck. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how we ate for 5 straight years. Never went grocery shopping once. Now, if they had decriminalized it, oh, we would have walked out the front door with it.
Yeah, because then it becomes very lucrative to just take anything, because you can sell anything. You just got to find the right. It wouldn't be in the store if it wasn't sellable, right? The store itself, the Safeway, whatever store it is, wouldn't hold the item if it wasn't sellable. You just got to find the right market. You got to find the right people. And with the internet being what the internet is now, it's very easy to find the right people that you want to sell stuff to, the people that are interested in whatever you took. So anything becomes a target whenever it's decriminalized. And I'm not going to go to jail. Anything, basically everything in the store becomes a target, right?
Absolutely. And since our criminal escapades until now is so different, like the electronics and all. I mean, there's just so many things that these people are grabbing. You see it in San Francisco a lot too. Whole hordes of people enter into these Apple stores and stuff like that and just start snatching stuff. And imagine you're working there for $15, $18 an hour, which is probably what they're making in San Francisco. Are you going to stand in front of a whole mob? No. You're probably going to grab an iPhone and tuck it away in your backpack.
Yeah, I would imagine Apple seems like a company that would have a hands-off policy, if I had to guess. They just seem that way.
I can see armed guards being the answer to this.
It's going to be that way eventually. The people in I hate to say this, but the people in Hollywood many of them already had armed security. And the ones who didn't, most of them do now. And it still doesn't seem to be completely stopping the problem. People are getting robbed on their way home. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department actually put out a little news bulletin thing and said, don't be acting flashy and don't be wearing, if you're going out, don't be wearing a bunch of jewelry and shit like that. They're basically telling people to put their jewelry away, don't wear it outside.
That's crazy.
So let's check this out real quick. Some more footage from the Dollar General.
The Mejia Police Department is asking the public for help identifying a person of interest in a recent theft at a Dollar General. The department says that 2 separate thefts happened at the Dollar General located at 1003 East Milam Street on May 11th and May 15th. The person of interest pictured on your screen used children to commit the thefts by pushing out shopping carts filled with items that were unlawfully appropriated. If you can identify the suspect or have any information, you can contact the Mejia Police Department at 254-5.
Well, there you go.
Unlawfully appropriated.
41.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that
Identify
meant.
the suspect or have.
She would not even say the word stolen.
Yeah, she unlawfully appropriated.
She unlawfully appropriated items from the store. I hate the media.
They said you're what's called. You're echoing. Hold on. Bam.
That does look like little Timmy. I'm not gonna lie.
That looks like little Timmy. That's little Timmy's lady.
Yeah.
So we've come to a point now, right? And then that's the thing, is that the shoplifting was always around, okay? Whenever I was very young, there was shoplifters. But the thing is that the vast majority of society in the 80s, 70s, 60s generally agreed that it was not okay to steal. Now, was there thieves? Yes. But it was a very small section of society. They hung out with each other. You know what I mean? And that was kind of their thing. They were thieves. Since we've taken the stigma away and it's not about being a thief anymore, you're just a minority who's been oppressed and they kind of owe you this. I can take away the stigma of it. I'm not a thief. What you talking about? I'm getting my reparations, homie.
Right.
I got all these white people. They tell me I'm supposed to get reparations. I hear all these good-looking politicians I'd be voting for. They say I deserve reparations. San Francisco just voted for it, so let's go get it.
Did you see where they now say that $5 million is not enough for reparations. They need $7.2 million.
Good luck. Good
I
luck.
think decriminalizing theft under $1,000 should be reparations in itself.
Wipe all the charges for theft
Yeah.
under $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you want true reparations, how about you clear the criminal record of anybody who has not been in trouble or had any type of case in 15 straight years, you know, black or white.
Yeah.
You want reparations?
Well, that's the way to do it. Because if you do that would be the way to do it, is to target a population that didn't have to do with race, but that was overwhelmingly black. Because
Yep.
that by doing it like that, you avoid having to say who's black and who's not. You don't have to make that distinction.
Yep.
You just do a general amnesty for a whole section of society and make sure you catch up mostly black people in the process.
Which is 70% of, you know,
I'll tell you like this.
the felony population.
Colorado is about like 5% black. It's not a very black state, and they're pretty much isolated to a couple areas. Pretty much Aurora, Montbello, the East Side, Park Hill, and then there's a good section of them in Colorado Springs. But that's pretty much the whole blacks for the state, for the most part, are centered in those 5 areas, and I think I would say the prison population is close to a quarter black. Because whenever I was in Buny and I got there, there was half the chow hall was split. There was the sureños, there was white boys that sat right next to them, right behind them, and then back here was the weirdos. This was all weirdos. They had to sit all the way in the back. And then this quarter of the chow hall was black, and then this quarter was ours, was all Chicano and Paisa. And we had to sit right there. And so they had a quarter of the chow hall, and it was filled up. So that's kind of what I've always taken, is it's about a quarter, I'd say about 25% black. So they're locking up 5 times the amount of the population in the state.
Right. I mean, I can't subscribe to the idea that because they're black, I've seen white dudes get tased. I've been tased twice by the police. I've been given 2 prison sentences. You know, I've had probation that I've blown off. I've blown off a parole. I've finished a parole. Like, it's not a racial thing. It's a scumbag thing. You know, when you're a scumbag, you go to prison.
You don't think that blacks get worse sentences?
Maybe not where I'm from. No, not from Nevada. You know, they're pretty even across the board on how they do people in. I see a big discrepancy between women and men and their prison sentences, but definitely not between whites and blacks. The judge will give a white man and a black man the same sentence in the same day for the same crime. And that's about that.
I would have to say that what I seen out here, I believe I saw black people getting harsher sentences.
Yeah.
My homie Dub from Hoover's, they gave him 10 years for running from his parole officer, and his parole officer tripped and fell and broke his finger.
Assault on an officer.
Yep. And a violent 10, so he had to do the whole damn thing.
3rd strike.
No.
Second.
He's
Obviously.
He was a juvenile mess up like me too. Like, we both came up together through juvenile and all that. So he was the same type. He'd been gangbanging since he was a kid. He was, he was in the thick of it. But they didn't give me no 10-piece like that.
Hey, that begs the question.
They gave me a 3 and a 4 for 3 separate felonies, and 2 of them were committed. The second 2 were committed while I was on parole. And I ended up getting a 7 with a 3-year tail, and I did like 9 of it. I did almost all of it inside. 9 out of the 10. He got a 10 for his second offense, and was just running from his parole officer, and they gave him a 10-piece.
It begs the question, though, the American History X question. Come on, man, you pushed that cop, didn't you?
Oh no, he said he dipped out. That's all he said. He said he ran. He ran, and they were in a foot chase, and he said he made he had to jump over a little dip, and he made the jump, and the dude didn't. And whenever dude fell, he busted his finger. That's
that Colorado stuff where people will actually sue you when they break into your house and cut themselves on the window breaking in.
You get smoked around here, you get caught in someone's house.
Yeah, that's what I love about Florida.
Yeah.
We're very hands-on policy around here.
You get caught in somebody's house, you're done out here.
I'm
in the yard. That's a little different. But in your house, once you cross somebody's threshold out here, you can't. If you're any sort of violent or you're not supposed to be there, you probably need to leave immediately, or it would get. Yeah.
I got Sheriff Grady out here. I don't even think if something happened at my house, and I even had to, get the heat, I don't even think Sheriff Grady would have me arrested.
Well, if you think of it like this, the dude that I did the interview with, Terrence Roberts, who hit that dude out here, right? He was a felon. He'd been a felon. So he was a felon in the possession of a pew-pew, and then hit dude in the middle of God and everybody, in the middle of a rally, hits dude 3 times, and on camera. They never hit him for felon in possession of a firearm.
Because he was protecting himself.
Yep.
And as long as I can prove.
The only question they needed to know was, did he fear for his life? That's all that mattered whenever it came down to it.
Right. Well, look at Bones from the story that the feds pulled off of my channel. There was a banger in the safe at the tattoo shop. They came in, they jumped him. They were walking back to get theirs. Bones gets the one out of the safe, smokes dude on camera, and Bones was never charged with it. That is not possession. He did not actively have that thing on his hip. He had to go somewhere that it was locked up. Somebody had to open it. He had to get it. There's all those things, and that's how it is here too.
And he had just been assaulted, right?
And he had just been assaulted. So I'm a big proponent of that. Like, there are little loopholes that everybody needs to know. You can have them in your house, and you can protect yourself, and you can use them when it's necessary. You just don't be riding around with them in your car and have them next to your bed and stuff,
All right. Let's go over to another video. We got another video. Dollar General don't stop. This is from Lynchburg, I believe, Tennessee.
A dry county, by the way.
Out of Lynchburg tonight, where there's a large police presence at a store in the Boonesboro area.
10 News reporter Courtney Lockey joins us live from the scene. And Courtney, what can you tell us?
Rachel, John, I just got here within the last 20 minutes. The shooting happened here at the Dollar General that you see behind me. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what I'm seeing. It is right across the street from the Methodist Church here. It's a little tough to see because of all of these trees, but within the last minute, police just got back to us. They say that
those are some really nice trees. Look at that. It's like a forest.
Tennessee's beautiful.
Pretty area. Look at that. Everything is so green.
a shooting did happen here just a little bit after 4. They came out here for a disorderly man, and before they could arrive, witnesses said that the shooting had taken place near the entrance of the store. When the officers got here, they located a man with several gunshot wounds, and they started to take care of him. He's been taken to the Lynchburg General Hospital for treatment of his injuries, which they say are critical. Now, this male suspect was apprehended at the store, and he remains in police custody, and there is no threat to the community at this time. Again, we just got this information from police, and you can find all.
I'm telling you, homie, dollar stores are rough. It's a rough life. Imagine what these people think. It's like a retail Waffle House. You know, it's like a Waffle House, but you're not serving food, dog.
Oh, I love Waffle House. I love the dollar store too. I can't lie.
Did you see
I don't
the
know,
dude?
bro.
So one of the dudes smoked somebody. He just got found not guilty. He was a clerk at the Dollar General, had the thing on him. Apparently, he'd been through it. He already knew what time it was. They came in tripping, and he drew down and started getting off. They just found him not guilty.
I think the biggest thing that they've been tripping on is if somebody is running out and you hit them.
If they're turned around and running.
Yeah. I think if they're looking at you.
They were coming in, and they had bangers on them.
Yeah.
And he got off first.
That's open season. And it should be that way. That's why Americans are allowed to protect themselves. Like, he's got to go through all of that. He's got to have that put to his head and hope to God that this crackhead doesn't twitch and blow his brains out. No, you got to be able to protect yourself from stuff like that.
Well, think of that. And then juxtapose that with this woman on the bike in New York last week who did nothing but just try to say, give me my damn bike. That's all the resistance she gave. In the South, they're pulling out things and firing off. Or what about this dude in the UK? You see this YouTuber in the UK who was going in people's houses? He's a prankster and ran inside somebody's house the other day. They shut his down. The UK shut his channel down completely because he actually went in somebody's house. He's in there just filming. People are like, what are you doing?
Do you know why? Because people aren't allowed to own bangers over there.
Oh,
Nobody in America is running up in a bunch of people's homes as a prank.
No. You know what you're getting. You go in somebody's house here.
Oh. The world is going to hell, bro.
Let's see.
We can't even live. But that lady did chase that dude down on the bike. And it's New York.
She wasn't playing. You know?
They just charged the subway guy for choking. I mean, he did hold him for 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a level to stuff.
Honestly, I feel like we could do a whole show just about what's been going on in the New York subway. There's been 26 people pushed off the platforms in the last 18 months, pushed into moving trains, and it just happened again like 48 hours ago.
Over nothing, too. Not because they were arguing or beefing or any of that. It's just random and just normal, everyday people just being pushed in front of trains. Yeah. It's insane.
I don't know what that's about. So,
God bless New York, huh?
Yeah. So I think that's about as much as we got on that situation. But we got something else to talk about here. Let's go over here to not breaking points, to the Hill. Robbie Suave and I forget her name, Brianna Joy Gray. That's her name. So Mr. DeSantis decided to via Elon Musk decided to announce this afternoon that he will be running for president in 2024. I think we all kind of knew that. I don't think that was a mystery. But he will be running, and it looks like Elon Musk is going to be backing him up. So let's see what these people are talking about.
That's coming up tonight. Take it away, Brianna.
Well, of course, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is set to announce his 2024 bid for president with the help of Elon Musk. The tech billionaire has confirmed he'll conduct a non-scripted interview with DeSantis on Twitter Spaces this evening. NBC News reports that DeSantis will make the announcement in the Twitter Space with an official campaign video expected to post shortly after. DeSantis' choice to kick off his campaign on Twitter has underscored cable news' diminishing role in national politics. According to data in a new Washington Post analysis titled "The Looming Existential Crisis for Cable News," as recently as 2016, just over 70% of all households with a TV had cable or satellite TV subscriptions. Today, the figure is just under 40%. And it's dropping fast.
Critics of Elon Musk over the Atlantic say he's turned Twitter into a, quote, right-wing alt-tech platform that has much in common with the likes of Truth Social and Rumble, notion which Glenn Greenwald hit back at, writing, quote, anything and anyone these people can't control and censor gets called right-wing or a Russian agent. They're dealing with their collapsed relevance and the contempt the public has for them quite poorly by lashing out like shrieking hysterics as their ship sinks.
So there's two different things in that. First of all, anything that doesn't go with the narrative of the liberals is automatically called Russian disinformation and alt-right. Elon could not be closer to the middle in the way he thinks than any. He was a Democrat, and all of the idiocracy that's been going on has dragged him slowly towards the right. And now all of a sudden, you know, Elon is a supremacist, you know. And for the other part, though, Ron DeSantis will be a good president one day, but he is foolish, and he is going to cost the Republicans the White House by running.
Why?
Because it's gonna cause so many fireworks between DeSantis and Trump that they won't be able to repair it, right? Irreparable damage. And that means that DeSantis won't become the party's vice president nominee, which is where he should be. DeSantis needs that 4 years under Trump to learn how not to act like Trump, but act like Trump, right? Because that's what he's running on. He's saying Trump without the crazy. I believe the same things as your guy, who you guys love. I just won't be over here grabbing him by the pussy. You know, but Trump is going to be the nominee. Mm-hmm. So for any powerhouse to come in like that and make waves is bad for the party.
Give me 2 seconds. Somebody's talking to me through the curtain.
Mm-hmm. Right. He barely won his own state. That's true too. But don't get me wrong. DeSantis is the dude, right? I like a lot of what DeSantis has done down here. That's the reason we moved to Florida, was DeSantis. But for him to be going against Trump is just going to mudsling so much. And it's a terrible plan. It's a terrible idea. Elon would have a better chance running against Trump. But he wasn't born here.
Well, I'll say this. I saw the ad that Trump put out today. Trump put out an ad. It is an attack ad, but it's not nasty at all. It's not nasty at all. It's aimed at DeSantis, but it's not nasty. All it says, what the ad says is, remember whenever I saved your ass? Why don't you remember who saved your ass? That's the point of Trump's message. He proves it. He says he's got DeSantis on camera saying, man, we would have got our ass handed to us if it wasn't for Trump's endorsement. Da, 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 da. And that's all. That's Trump's message. Remember who you are. That's all.
Right.
Stay in your place. That was his message. Stay in your place. Play your position.
And I absolutely, that's what I'm saying without saying, you know, like without saying those exact words. That's the sentiment that I believe. You're jumping in at the wrong time. You would obviously be a shoo-in.
You think he should wait out another 4 years?
Absolutely. He would be a shoo-in for vice presidential nominee. But Trump takes things personal.
Politics is not like that. 4 years is a long time. Nobody knew who Barack Obama was 12 months, 18 months before he became president. I knew who he was because I'm a nerd and pay attention to that stuff, but most people did not know who he was.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely. He was a state senator, and then he was a senator for how long?
He's a community organizer.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer. He's a constitutional lawyer.
Right.
But no, my point is 4 years is a long time. There's nothing saying that in 4 years the Democrats have gotten rid of Biden. They've picked up Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he's the most popular thing in the country. And then he makes DeSantis look like chump change. So politics changes big time, and you can't wait that long.
Our best hope for the Republicans to take the White House is the man who's already taken the White House once. Right? all it's going to do is it's going to turn off.
A lot of people hate him.
Not Republicans.
Yeah. Well, you can't win with Republicans. The independent's what wins.
So the Democrats have messed up so bad already, right? All you got to do is keep your mouth shut and promise to undo everything that they have done in the past 2.5 years. And you're a shoo-in. You know, we don't need infighting between the two basic stars of the party. We need them coming together. And for DeSantis to do it this way, and then Elon backing him, is going to cause distaste for Trump for people that otherwise wouldn't.
I'm going to reserve on that because, like I said, I saw that ad today, and that ad wasn't nasty at all. So I've seen no evidence that they're actually getting nasty with each other. He calls him Meatball Ron. That's funny. That's not nasty.
I mean, he does it to Ted Cruz too, and Ted Cruz has been super Republican since since the last election that he ran in. He has been the face of the party, basically. Him and Crenshaw, and I think Crenshaw should be in here somewhere as a vice presidential nominee.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him eventually.
Absolutely, I think if Trump took Crenshaw on, they'd be unstoppable.
That might be a good idea. I don't know though, but here's the thing, because Trump's already got a lot of that vote, right? The purpose of the purpose of a vice president is to shore up something. Like Mike Pence was there to shore up evangelical Christians, to make sure all the hardcore Christians were there, right?
So Tulsi Gabbard.
Whew. Good luck.
Trump Gabbard.
Good luck.
She ate Kamala Harris.
She's got to give up her party first.
Right. Well, she's in third party now.
Oh, she is independent, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. She did make herself independent.
Yep.
So did what's her name? The girl from Arizona.
Kristen Sinema.
Yep.
Well, she can't figure herself out though.
No, she did it on purpose.
Yeah, one day she's a blue-haired lesbian, and then the next day she's Republican, and then the next day she's Democrat, which is fine.
She's doing it for leverage. It was the right. I remember why. I read a paper on it whenever she did it. Somebody wrote a paper on it, and it makes sense. She's doing it she's doing the right thing. It's actually very politically expedient what she did. She's making them jockey for her favor, is what she's doing.
So I was in Arizona when that election went down, and I am a certified Republican. I voted for Kristen Sinema over who the Republicans had up there, because the lady she was running against, I cannot remember her name right now, was just clearly a piece of shit. So I actually stepped across my party line and voted for her and she has stuck to it too. She said, "You won't find anybody in the middle more than me," right? She says, "I believe this way on this. I believe this way on this." And it aligned right where I was like, okay, I'm actually going to not just go straight down the board. And I voted for somebody that was a Democrat, which is crazy. And the first thing she did when she got up there was stand up and applaud President Trump in his speech. And all the Democrats hated on her. And one of them was seen saying, "You're dead," or something like that. Because she was standing up applauding the president.
Yeah, they're like that.
So it made me feel like I had made the right decision, because she was already showing exactly what she ran on. She was showing it in action right away.
And they're not stupid. They know that. She knows that. She knows she's on camera.
Yeah.
They know when they're on camera. She was up there doing that for a reason.
Because she was saying, "Hey, look at me. I told you I'm in the middle, and I'm in the middle." We need more people like that. We need the Tulsi Gabbards and the Kristen Sinemas who are just in the middle. We can't have these Bud Light cans over here and, the Klan over here. And it's like, what about us? Because I feel a certain type of way about a lot of different things.
Okay. See
You
what
know?
Elon's talking about. Let's see Elon's official announcement here.
We interviewing Ron DeSantis, and he has quite an announcement to make, and it'll be the first time that something like this is happening on social media, and with real-time questions and answers, not scripted. So it's going to be live, and let's see what happens.
So just so everybody knows, this live stream happened about 2 hours ago, and about 600,000 people tried to join the live stream in the first 10 minutes, and it crashed Twitter servers. And so they had to back up, keep trying to back it up. It was not working. They had to shut the live stream down, go live on somebody else's account, go live on one of Elon's homies' account, restrict how many people could enter, and then stream it for everybody to watch, right? Stream it to different platforms so everybody could watch it. So it took them about 20, 25 minutes. This thing literally just melted the internet, the interview. And Ron DeSantis announcing his bid for president.
So in that speech, DeSantis came out, and you can already tell what he's hyper-focused on. The border and Fenty, right? Like, that was he's like, listen, we can't have all of this coming across and killing our citizens. This needs to be stopped right now. And I think that's going to be his big ticket, but that's Trump's also. You know, that's a Republican ideal right there, where it's just like, we need closed borders, and we do. You know, do I agree? Like I've said it many, many times. Everybody thinks, oh, it's the Mexicans. It's not the Mexicans coming across. It's the Mexicans using the people coming across as mules sometimes to get the Fetty over, but it's South Americans that are coming over. You know, I think it would be easier just to close off the Mexican South America border.
The southern border of Mexico?
Absolutely.
There's a wall down there.
They're getting across somehow, aren't they?
I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out how they're getting across. I was wondering about that too. There's a damn wall down there. They built a huge one. So, I don't know what that's about. They seem to have no interest in stopping the inflow of people into the country at all. They do seem interested in like dispersing them all over they were talking yesterday. I seen a news report here in Denver. We took 10,000. Denver has 10,000 new immigrants. I'm not 100% sure. I know some of them are down in the west side because they said they had some of them working at Rudy Center, and that's the gym that I used to work out at. It's right next to the main welfare office on 12th and Federal. And I used to work out there whenever I was a kid. So I guess they got the immigrants down there cleaning up the west side or something like that.
So what does 10,000 new votes in Denver look like? It's already a blue state, but it's probably a blue state where each district is won by 2,000 votes.
I don't know. I know like the votes for mayor and governor and stuff like that, those get into the millions.
Well, we're talking Congress and Senate.
Yeah.
Because make no mistake, those are the ones that run this country. They're the ones who enact these laws. They're the ones who write up these idiotic laws. And the president just signs off on or vetoes them. Very rarely vetoes.
Out here, it's mostly districts.
Yeah.
Like I live in a Republican district, the 18th Judicial District. So it's kind of like they're pretty embedded around here. If it's blue, it's blue. If it's red, it's red. Northern Colorado is red. What's called like Fort Collins. Fort Collins is a college town, so it's not. But all the rest of it, Greeley and all the stuff like that, all on the western slope. Everywhere else except for Denver, but Denver's just like the rest of the places. It's a huge chunk of blue, an overwhelming mass of there's like 3 million people in Denver, close to 3 million people, and it voted, I think 70% Democrat last time.
Now, what if there is some sort of loophole that they tell these people all you have to do is get an ID, a state issued ID in your name, to register to vote.
They might.
Right?
It wouldn't surprise me if they pulled that out here.
Right.
They do try stuff like that out here. I don't know if they would just because they don't need it. They don't need it. You know what I mean? And the thing is that the governor's pretty popular. The governor's a gay dude who has a husband, the governor of Colorado, and he's like actually really popular because he's like he gives people money. There's lots of social services and stuff like that. Generally leaves people alone. He's not invading in anybody's privacy. You don't hear a lot about the bathroom. You know how there's like a lot of the gendered bathrooms. We don't got those problems out here because there's a lot of money. They just built unisex bathrooms everywhere, and now the problem's solved. Now
Okay.
everybody can use any bathroom. You don't got to worry about it.
Okay, but states like Arizona that are historically red, staunch Republicans. Nevada has been red my entire lifetime. They're both blue now.
Those are purple states. What are you talking about? Arizona and Nevada are purple states.
Well, they voted for Biden. But being from Las Vegas, the biggest city in Nevada, I can't find 10 friends that voted for Biden.
Yeah.
But somehow he won that state.
But you're not hanging around those people.
And I have friends from all walks of life.
But those people are a lot more pushy too. That's another thing that we have to remember. That Republicans tend to believe that voting is something that's personal. It has to do with you, whereas Democrats don't. Democrats will force their friends and their mom and their kids or whoever they can get on election day, they'll force them to go down there. Republicans won't do that because we believe in that boundary.
10,000 new illegal immigrants that got dropped off in the city center.
Well, I gotta see some evidence for that. I mean, I hear a lot of what you call about that, but I haven't seen anybody I haven't seen that happening.
So there's already, they're having hearings right now talking about the last election and whether or not the FBI knowingly came into that election and swayed it. Whether they allowed it, whether they were putting out smut on Trump at perfect times. Basically, they're saying that they've used the FBI and CIA as weapons in the media, and basically they're raiding Mar-a-Lago, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that there's nothing there, but they find paperwork in Biden's car, and it's swept under the rug. And this is all the feds. Mm-hmm. So what happens when you have all these illegals being dropped off? The feds are in on the take. Mm-hmm. It's going to go blue again. Like, how can you win? How can you win when Joe Biden, a potato of a man right now, got the most votes in the history of the United States? 86 million, was it?
Yeah.
You're telling me 86 million people, more than Barack Obama.
But how many people voted against Trump? How many people showed up to vote against Trump?
If Biden hadn't won this election with 86 million, Trump would have had the most votes in American election history. So I won't hear that.
No, you're telling me? No, but you have to ask that. How many people voted against him? People really hate Trump. And the people who like Trump don't understand that. They don't get it. I can get my mom on the phone right now and put her live and say, Mom, da-da-da-da-da, and just bring up Donald Trump, and I'll just put the thing up to the microphone, dog, and she'll just go. Bah, 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 bah. I hate him, and he's nasty, and da-da-da-da-da-da. He needs to learn to shut his mouth, and da-da. We don't understand because we don't get it.
Right. Well, they burned Trump on the 4 things that they can find in the last 30 years. They've called him a racist, even though he's the only person that's running that has awards from the NAACP. Right?
Yeah.
But he's a racist.
I agree with what you're saying. I think all the things that you said about the feds is 100% true. They absolutely did all of those things. They 100% did all of those things. What I disagree with is the idea that we can't do something to change it. because we saw what happened when they got complacent in 2016. It wasn't that Trump got an amazing amount of votes in 2016. It's that nobody showed up for Hillary. That's what happened in 2016. This time, they realized their mistake, and they all showed up with their family members for Biden. Right?
This time, Trump got a record number of votes, and Biden beat him by 5 million. And have you ever seen an election not be able to be called overnight? Basically, the Florida thing with Bush Gore. But when have you seen them take weeks to count ballots? And, oh, we just found extra ballots, like Philadelphia. You know, Pennsylvania was so tight. Ohio, so tight. Wisconsin, so tight. Then you count Nevada and Arizona.
Pennsylvania wasn't tight at the end. Pennsylvania wasn't even close at the end. It was tight for a long time because Trump had an early lead, but by the end of it, it was like 1 million more votes or something crazy.
But when you break it down, there are some states that went to Biden by less than 10,000 votes.
Sure. Wisconsin was very close.
How many illegal immigrants are being dropped off in Wisconsin right now?
How are they voting? I don't understand how they're voting. How you think they're registered?
You're kidding me right now, right? If the feds are in on the...
They're all over the media right now on the news.
Right.
And they're saying, we got to give these people something so they can go work. They're not even letting them work.
If the federal government is in on the take, all the way up to the head of the FBI, how hard would it be to get some IDs into these people's hands?
Because the IDs are issued by the state, Doug. They're not issued by the feds. They're issued by the state. So the state would have to agree with it. The governor would be, the governor's who's responsible for that, he would have to implement that, and he's the one that we would throw out of office, right?
Right.
Now they probably won't. They probably won't here because they've actually done very well at integrating immigrants here. We have a large Ethiopian population, we have a large Vietnamese population, and they've done very well. They overwhelmingly don't cause problems. They don't end up in jail. They're really good people. They run their parts of town, and they're productive members of society. So I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do it again. Now, how Somalis or Ethiopians vote, I don't know. I've never looked into it. It could be that they skewed the vote. It's possible. You know? Because it is overwhelmingly, but the feeling is that way out here, though. It's a Democrat feel whenever you cruise around out here. It's like San Francisco without all the poop out here. That's how we are.
Right. Well, that's why I like Florida, because we're just a republic in California. You know?
With worse weather, with hurricanes and shit.
And they're the ones making all the noise, really. California and New York.
What do you mean?
And Chicago. Not even so much Chicago. They're the ones that got all these crazies, AOC, Pelosi, you know?
I seen a bunch of black people on the streets of Chicago 2 days ago screaming about them bringing in the immigrants, bringing in illegal immigrants.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's what needs to happen.
They're pissed.
Because when the other side starts screaming about closing the borders and start caring about stuff like that, then they don't show up with 86 million votes.
You know, I don't know, but I'm a firm believer that voting does matter. I've got a couple of my friends who are like, oh, it doesn't even matter. We got hosed and da-da-da. I don't think that's what it was. I think that we just lost.
What's the checks and balances on dead people voting? Who's there to throw that vote out?
I have no idea. I know they sent out a bunch of them that they shouldn't have. I do know that.
Mail-in ballots for dead people. How many people do you think got mail-in ballots? And say you got a 20-something-year-old liberal living at home, as most of them do. They get the ballots in the mail. Dad over here is a staunch Republican. You know he's voting for Trump, but you hate Trump because racisms. So you feel yours and your dad's out for Biden. Mail them in.
And then what happens whenever your father gets his text message on his phone that lets him know his vote's just been turned in?
What's the process of overturning that vote? There isn't one.
No, you have to verify it. Whenever you vote, at least this is how it is in Colorado. Whenever you turn your vote in and they collect it immediately, you will get a little thing, a little ping on your phone, and it says your vote has just been verified. Please confirm that this was your vote, that you voted.
Mailing ballots out allows your ballot, your vote, to be in the hands of how many people?
The mailman, and then whoever's at your house,
and anybody in the post office. I mean, didn't they find ballots in the trash?
They did find something weird. They found like a mail bag or something in the river or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was about. I think that was more about just somebody being an asshole. I'm not sure. Because they said all those votes, most of those votes were for Biden. The votes, they found like 120 of them in a bag, in a mail bag or something like that. But then whenever they counted them all up, they were for Biden anyway.
I mean, I cannot for the life of me figure out. There's no way the 86 million people hated Trump so bad that they gave their vote to Joe Biden's retarded ass and just let that go. That's just not it. Historic numbers. Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States, did not get 86 million votes in either of his terms. And you're telling me that this bumbling, slobbering fool did?
Yeah, I don't think they really voted for him. They voted to get rid of Trump. Think about all the spin that the media put out there about Trump. You know what I mean? They convinced the whole country that this fool was evil. You know?
Yeah, they've done a really swell job at it too.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, and people bought it. People really bought it. They were talking about this fool's like a Russian agent and all this other nonsense.
Turns out Biden was.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to go over to Chicago real quick, and this is from 3 days ago. We're going to figure out how Chicagoans feel about the immigrants that are showing up. Oh, wait.
Now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
That's what y'all get.
As you can see, black folks in are not happy at all. And I think they have a right to feel like that. You know? There's a lot of places in Chicago that aren't nice places. And I don't think that the best thing for those non-nice places is an injection of poor immigrants. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, and I'll say this too. I am not against immigration whatsoever. I'm not against people who are oppressed and are in fear for their lives, bringing them and their family and their children across the border. You know, and taking that god-awful trek across Mexico and then wading across with their baby on. I saw one, there was a baby. They had blankets stuffed up to hold the baby inside of a suitcase and held it on his head as he walked across the river. That's horrible, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it should be easier. It should be a much easier process for these people to be able to get into this country and live a good life, right? We have enough. And I'm not going out and picking strawberries or building roads or, you know, things that the South American and Mexican culture are known to do hard, right? Like construction, they build shit. Agriculture, they grow shit, right? All these jobs, I don't have the right, complexion to be out in the sun. I'll be burning. Plus, I don't have the drive to want to do it, but they will. So they're taking my jobs. No, you're not skilled enough at what you do if they're taking your job. Right?
Well, the argument would be that if the immigrants had never shown up, those jobs would pay better. And you'd make $22-23 an hour to pick cabbages in the field because it's hard ass work.
All right. So the price of goods is all that matters when it comes to how much people are getting paid, right? Because you would live better in the 60s making $2.50 an hour than you will today making $20 an hour. So that's an inflation problem more than it is a numbers problem on a paycheck, right? Everything has gone skyrocket high, and the dollar is losing its value. So that's a whole different subject, at least in my mind. This whole they're taking money, pay taxes.
But if wages inflate naturally through time, and you don't have artificial, we forget about this. We forget about the fact everybody complains and they say wages have been stagnant since the 70s. This is bullshit. Yeah, a whole bunch of women went to work in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. So you double the workforce. When you double your workforce, you stagnate the price of labor.
Absolutely.
That's it. And then whenever you bring in more illegal immigrants and they go to work too, you stagnate the price even more. And that is why the federal minimum wage is still $7.25 or $8.50 or some shit like that. That's why. You're messing with it. You're taking a market that's supposed to work a certain way, and they're putting, inputs in. So that's part of the problem is whenever you double your workforce, you double your output, which makes way more money. This is why countries that don't allow women to work are pretty poor. The only way your country has money, unless you allow women to go to work, is if you have oil, like the Saudi stuff like that. You know what I mean? They have oil. They have some sort of resource or something that's artificially inflating their value. But a normal production country, a country that relies on production for its GDP, not oil or something crazy like that, you have to have women. It's got double the workforce to compete.
So do you know what the answer is to all of that?
What do you got?
Stop buying stuff from across the ocean, start opening factories, and bring more jobs to America, which is what Trump was on.
Bring here. There's factories we can't bring here. It doesn't make sense to make toys here. No toys. Can't make toys here. They don't make enough money. You'd have to sell a doll for $85.
Okay, but all of our airplanes are running on chips that say made in Taiwan.
We're trying with that.
Right? There's certain things that we can do here that we're not, because the government isn't allowing us. We could have oil refineries running all over, pipelines running all over, work that a lot of these immigrants that are coming in can do, but they won't allow it. It's like they want us to be reliant on Russia and China and Taiwan.
They want us to be reliant on the government, and Trump cut the restraints on the economy, and it was flying, and he did so by reducing the taxes on the rich. And the rich people made a whole bunch of money in the process, but they also invested a whole bunch of money. And that's that boom we went through with 4 years of Trump until all of this nonsense started, right? And that's the exact same boom. So they want to restrict that. They can't have all this excess money floating around. Democrats aren't a big fan of having this excess money floating around in the economy.
Of course.
Right? You give people too much freedom. They start businesses. They start starting businesses. Then the underclass that is dependent upon their vote starts paying taxes. They start making some money and paying taxes because the economy's doing better. And then they look at the thing and they're like, I don't want to pay these damn taxes. This is ridiculous.
Exactly.
Then they start thinking, people start paying taxes. They start thinking Republican. People get a kid. They start thinking Republican a little bit.
So in your statement right there, it's not illegal immigrants coming across the border and taking up job space. It is the Democrats holding us back from being able to flourish where there would be enough jobs for those immigrants and we would all be making more money.
There's enough jobs for everybody. There's
Oh,
no
plenty.
shortage. There's no short. I think there's 3 million open jobs right now in the United States. There's no shortage of jobs.
I'll tell you what,
The
I got an
pro-
18-year-old son right now in the room next to me, don't do a fucking thing. You know?
Yeah.
So how am I going to tell somebody who trekked over 1,000 miles with a baby on his head not to come in here?
Yeah.
And take that McDonald's job that motherfucker should be doing?
They're doing it. I've been to McDonald's. It's all Mexican.
Exactly.
They're getting it, and that
Hey.
food's good too. I'd be going.
Hey, listen. So you've been doing the DoorDash thing. I'll go into a McDonald's and look at the crew and know how long it's going to take. If there's a Mexican crew in there and they're speaking the Espanol, I know that food's coming. Boom, right?
Yeah.
Them ladies ain't even looking up when they're talking. They're just like, they're getting it. Who doesn't, what's so bad about letting people come in here and live a good life? We got plenty, but at the same time, we need closed borders, and there needs to be a process to them getting in here. I don't like having to sit here and just know that anybody can just come across at any time with whatever they want. It's not a good.
But there has
look.
to be a question whenever you say, okay, well, we let the people in. Okay, well, how many?
Right. I get you there.
10 million? 30 million?
10 million would destabilize us.
That's what I'm saying. So there has to be a limit and an amount of time. Before 1964, there was waves of immigration. The people would come across and then they would integrate, and then they would come across. They came across the Irish, the Italians, the Germans. The Germans and the Dutch came first, right? Pretty much the first settlers were all German and Dutch, and then they come in waves. The Italians and the Irish and different people came in different waves, and they acclimated. And then in 1964, whenever they changed the laws, they just opened it up. They opened everything up, and it's been this way. It's been basically this latest inception ever since. Open borders. Try to catch me if you can.
Here's the hypocrisy in it all. We'll go over to the Middle East and destabilize entire governments, right, for our own agenda, and we'll say that it's in the name of tyranny, right? Well, why haven't we don't do it in our own hemisphere though? Venezuela, all these countries that people are fleeing from, they got oil too. They got natural resources. Just go in there and destabilize those places. Let the people get their country back under control.
It's not.
It's like taking Panama.
There's a bunch of moving parts with that. It's not that easy. I could go into it if you want to.
Yeah, we did it further distances, didn't we? We went to Afghanistan.
It's not about that. It's about the natural resource. It's about the oil that's in the ground. The oil that's in the ground in Venezuela is extremely dirty. It's very nasty. It's very expensive to refine, and the refineries that they have fallen apart. They're in horrible disrepair. Nobody is willing to go in and put the money up to do this because the country is too unstable at the current moment.
Exactly. And if we just went over there, they might have dirty oil, but it's oil. And guess what?
You can't just...
Places with oil need liberating.
Well, we tried that. It didn't work.
It did for 10 years. I mean, sort of.
It did, and until they got on their feet, and then they elected somebody that was actually they elected somebody who was an actual populist, Hugo Chavez, who actually wanted to be for the people, and said, no, we're not going to send all this oil to America. We're keeping it for our damn selves. And America said, oh, you want to act like communists? Watch this. We'll put an embargo on your country, and we'll stop all immigration. Obama stopped all immigration from Venezuela in 2008, I believe, if I remember right.
Right. And how many Venezuelans do you think come across our open border in Texas?
No idea. No clue.
I bet.
I haven't heard any stats on the situation. I haven't heard any stats. But yeah, Venezuela is in a weird situation where the vast majority of the economy was built upon oil that was extremely, it's some of the dirtiest, nastiest oil in the world.
What makes it dirty? Is it just too new?
I don't know, or mixed with other shit. That's what makes Saudi Arabia, as quiet as it's kept. Everybody talks about OPEC and these other things. Saudi Arabia controls the price of oil. Saudi Arabia is the only country on the planet that can produce a gallon of oil or a barrel of oil for under $10. And the reason why is because the oil is extremely close to the ground. It's like 20 feet down. You can just drill and find it. I don't know if it's 20 feet, but it's right there. It's right next to the surface, and it's extremely clean. It doesn't need to be refined all that much. So they have super high quality oil right next to the surface, so it's not expensive to get it. And it's in dry, arid areas, so the machines don't rust, right? You don't have to worry about these things. The machines don't rust. You keep them nice and greased, everything stays dry, and they're just out there pumping. This is why they control. Saudi Arabia controls the price of oil, right? And this is what pisses me off so bad, is whenever they let all these prices of this oil go everywhere. He could have put the screws. Biden could have put the screws to Saudi Arabia, but he didn't. And the reason he could have put the screws is because they are fighting a war against Hamas, okay? They need our weapons to fight this war. Their weapon systems will fall apart within months. They're within 6 months, their war will pretty much ground to a halt, if we say so. So we have all the leverage in the world to make Saudi Arabia drop the price of oil, and Joe Biden didn't have the balls to do it.
So do you think that we're running out of oil?
I haven't seen any evidence of that, no.
So what would the point be to restrict our oil production?
And every time they look, they seem to find more. They're finding more natural gas off the coast of Japan, off the coast of Israel, every time they look.
Up in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot up there in that frozen tundra. A lot.
Yeah. What was the question? What did you say?
If we're running out.
No, I haven't seen any evidence of that. And I rarely hear people even talk about peak oil. Peak oil was a thing it was a theory that they had whenever I was a child, that we were going to hit peak oil. And then from there, it would all be downhill. And they just don't talk about it anymore, which makes me to believe the theory was probably wrong. It's most likely been proven wrong, I'm guessing, because you don't hear that. You don't really hear the theory anymore.
Now, what about the pipeline?
What about
running it through Native American land was an idiotic move, but they could have just built more pipeline. They could have just paid to run it around, right? So they,
sure.
I mean,
you can always just pay. Yeah.
If you want to look at it, shutting down that pipeline was a horrible idea, but at the same time, I get it, because I mean, we've already taken so much from the Native Americans. Why you got to run shit through their fucking land now too, right? Mm-hmm. But what is the point in the Democrats wanting to shut down oil production so much? Because that's the key problem for everything. That's why the price of everything has gone up, because the price of oil has gone up. And the price of gasoline and diesel.
But that wouldn't make sense, though. You got to think of it like this, though, because the price of oil went up, and then it came back down. The price of everything is just gone up. Things aren't coming back down. They detached from the oil inflation a long time ago. Prices detached. You've got supply issues, supply chain issues factoring in. You've got the cost of oil factoring in, and also the cost of oil is not that much more. Okay, so let's say oil is up 10% from where it was whenever all this stuff happened. Let's say whenever the world went boom. Okay, which basically it is. It's about 10% higher now, right?
No.
What was gas?
It was $1.80.
It wasn't $1.80 when the world went boom, dog. That was the lowest it ever got.
It was $1.80 when Trump left office.
No.
In Texas.
It was as low as it ever possibly got the day that he left office. I really find that hard
in
to
Texas.
believe.
I remember taking the picture. Taking the picture.
That would be an incredible coincidence.
Yeah, it was like $1.89 when Trump left office. Within 2 months.
What is it now? in Texas?
$3.29.
No, it's not, because it's cheaper than that here.
I just paid $3.29.
You're not in Texas. I just paid $2.98.
I'll call one of my friends and see what it is in Texas at that exact gas station.
I have a feeling they're cheaper. Texas is cheaper than here. I'm not positive.
Oh, it is. It is 100%. It's the cheapest in the U.S. because, especially in the Houston area, is all oil refineries. So, I mean, there's no travel for it.
110 in New Jersey. Damn, Jesus, you guys got gas that cheap there? 110? How? It's got to be subsidized. There's got to be a government subsidy going on there. You shouldn't be getting gas for no $1.10.
During COVID, gas was $1.80. Exactly. And
that's the that's the lowest it ever got. That's a number that people are picking out of the news. That's the lowest it got in the country.
I remember because I called, I said, watch how high gas prices get now that Joe Biden's coming in. I remember it was $1.89 a gallon. And then June 7th, it took like a month or so. It was up $1 already.
Oh, yeah. It was right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? Now I just went from $15 to get me around for the week to $30. And immediately the price of everything started to go up.
We're going to go off average, not the lowest price anybody can find, but an average. U.S. retail regular prices of gasoline fell to $2.43 in 2015 and a record low of $2.14 in 2016. That's the record low. So this is an average, not the lowest gas station you can find, because everybody's quoting the lowest gas station that they heard of on the news, right?
I just went by the Exxon that I always got gas at in Texas.
Let's see. How much gas has cost every year since 78? Let's see if it'll give us a map or something.
Yeah, give us a chart.
Here we go. There is a chart. Bam. We got a chart. And it looks interactive too. How much gas cost every year since 1978? January 1st of 2020. When does Biden get sworn in?
The January 6th.
January 6th?
Mm-hmm.
So January 1st of 2020, it was an average at $2.24.
There you go. So $1.89 is not in Texas is definitely what I saw.
Yeah, probably so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that's one, you can't just say gas was $1.89. No, it wasn't for the rest of the country. That's one isolated pocket. You can't use that as a statistic. And
okay. So tell me what gas cost March of 2020.
Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if it gets in here. It doesn't really. Yeah, you can see it goes straight up. It doesn't let you get that. It lets you get it year to year. It's not that refined of a thing. But from 220.
Can you zoom that in?
Not really.
Can you put your pointer on January 1st?
Yeah, it's right there. 2020, January 1st, 2020. Then January 1st, 2021, it's at 313.
Within 1 year of that man taking office.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was doubled.
Wild. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Inflation adjusted.
Now, because everybody doubled and in some places probably almost tripled, at least 2.5x their price of gas. Well, the cost of goods to get to a store via truck or train just went up to 2.5x.
No, it didn't. No.
Absolutely, it did. If you're paying twice,
2.5x. What 2.5? Where'd you get 2.5x?
If you're paying twice as much for gas,
I'm not.
Then the cost to ship things
it says
was 2.5 times higher.
It says $2.24 right here, and I'm paying $2.98. That is not 2.5 times. That's like 30% more, 35%.
Over the year, from when it was $2.29, you said, and it went up to $3 what?
At $2.24 to $3.13. That's like a 40% rise. Not 2.5x, not 250. It's like 40%.
Okay, so the cost of everything went up 40%.
No, The cost
Yes.
of transportation.
To
no,
transport.
that's not how things work, dog. Not
Sure.
every single thing in the truck is now going to cost 40% more. No, that's not how it works. Not at all.
Okay, so you think those companies are?
And then as soon as the logistics pressures ease, and things start moving better, those prices are going to ease. And as the gas prices, and then what happens whenever gas prices come back down? Because gas prices have come back down since then, and now they're back on the swing up.
So if you're a company, and your company makes bread, now to ship it to all the local stores, you got to fill up your gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're paying 40% more in fuel. Are you just going to eat that 40% more in fuel and keep the price the same, or are you going to have to raise the price?
You're going to jack up your prices by 40%. You're going to go out of business.
Not your prices, but the price of transportation.
Yeah, you're going to tack a little bit on. Yeah, a little bit. Not
Right.
40%. Not 2.5x or whatever.
I'm not talking about the entirety. I'm not saying everything that was $1 is now $2.50, but it kind of is.
What do you mean?
Look at a bag of chips. Look at a soda.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Everything has gone up exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it all starts around fuel costing more money because shipping goods cost more money.
Yeah, but that already went away, though. That's what I'm saying. That already peaked out. That peaked out a long time ago. It's come back down. So anything that baked in is baked in. It's called baked into the equation already. It's already baked in. You can't keep blaming that.
And they're never going to bring it back down.
Yeah, this is now greed. This is now greed because under your assumption, every time that gas went down, the prices would go down.
Well,
and that's not
exactly.
what happens.
Exactly.
That's not what happens. They baked it in. It's in there, and it's not going away. Whether gas comes down, whether Trump gets in and gas comes back down to $2, they don't care.
Well, I do know this for sure. It has really made me look at certain businesses and things for what they really are. Like, we didn't go to McDonald's because it was good. We went there because it was cheap and it was fast, right? Now they want $10 for any meal in McDonald's, and I do not eat McDonald's anymore.
Yep.
Because I can go to Chick-fil-A and pay 80 more cents and get a really good meal.
Yep, a good chicken sandwich. Yep.
You know, these companies are out of control.
All I go to McDonald's for is the double cheeseburgers. I like their 2 for $4 double cheeseburgers.
When's it 2 for $4? Not down here.
No?
Even 2 for $4 is garbage. That's $2 a piece, man. They used to be
great.
You used to be able to get a $3 bundle, double cheeseburger, some fries, and then you added a 99-cent Coke onto that. For $3 you can eat.
And all the Cokes, all the sodas are like $1.40 now or something. $1.50, $1.60. It's not $1 no more. Remember, it was 99 cents for everything.
It's a lot. I think it's almost $2 here for a large.
Yeah.
$1.50 or something. It's
rodeo burger for.
It's about 40. It's about 40% more.
Big Mac meals are $14.99, and double cheeseburgers are $3.75 plus tax.
Right. What's the point? I hope McDonald's fails miserably. I hope they all go out of business now, because I'll go to Burger King, which makes a superior burger.
They do make good ones, but sometimes they give me heartburn, though. But yeah, you can't buy nothing no more. I went, it was just me and an old girl, and I went to Wendy's the other day and just ordered like 2 meals and a small Frosty. It was like $32 or something like that.
Wendy's still does have well, I think it's 4 for $5 now.
Yeah, I remember the 4 for $4.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit up the chicken nuggets, the fries, and a burger.
Remember the dollar menu, man. Remember the dollar menu?
Dollar doesn't mean nothing anymore. It's a $4 menu now.
That was dope. The dollar menu was dope, dog.
It's gone up by about how much?
Yeah, like
I'd say
$5-6. You'd be gross.
2.5x.
Yeah.
Hey, I reeled him in with the whole McDonald's talk. You guys are welcome.
I tell you, paid $16 for a 5-piece tender at Popeyes yesterday. Man.
You want to listen, if you're going to spend that kind of money on a lunch, say you work in an office or something, find a food truck. Food truck's going to have way better food. Stop going to these places. Stop going to McDonald's, especially McDonald's, because they are just corporate greed at its finest.
I like the Dollar Scoop. There's an Asian Dollar Scoop down on South Federal, and I can get 2 big styrofoams stuffed full of Chinese food, and 2 drinks and some utensils and whatnot for $20.
Perfect. That's $10 a head, and you can eat on that all day long.
Yeah, pretty much. It's enough food for 2 people to eat and have leftovers the next day for $20, and it's bomb.
My daughter asked me for a Happy Meal the other day, and she wanted a double cheeseburger because she'll eat like 3 nuggets and she'll eat 2 pieces of the burger. You know what I'm saying? But she wants both. So I got that for her, and I got myself a drink, and I swear to God, it was like $13 or $14. And I looked at the lady, I'm like, no, you got the wrong order, you know? Like, you're charging me for the dude behind me or something. I just ordered stupid shit. A Happy Meal, a double cheeseburger, and a soda. And she's like, yeah, $13. I'm not coming back here no more. Scarlett, you better get used to something else.
Yeah. Where the hell y'all live? I just bought a double quarter pounder with cheese and fries and a drink for $14.50.
See?
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's about what it was the other day. Yeah, I getting those meals at Wendy's. It was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I want to start a new hashtag. Hashtag keep fast food cheap.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right. That's what it was you could just pull in real quick. You could get something. It was okay food. And then you could just move on with your life. That's what was good about it. And it was cheap. Couple bucks, $4 or $5, you'd be good. Homie, get you a drink, something to eat, and you were good for lunch, homie. And not no more.
No, now you got to work a part-time job.
Yeah. Go do a couple door dashes.
Yeah.
Go get you some food.
Exactly. Hey, they mess around down here. They leave their food on a rack, unattended, bro.
Lumberjack says we got a whole bunch of oil out here in Colorado, but it's 12,000 feet deep, and it's extremely expensive to get to. I know Colorado's full of it because it's the mountain range. You know what I mean? All the activity that goes along with the mountain range.
Now, what do they pump back into the ground? I know they don't just leave empty cavities.
They do that fracking stuff out here. They take it away, then they bring it back, then they take it away, then they vote on it, and it's a big contentious thing out here. But we have a bunch of that oil shale stuff, the fracking stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of all of that ruining mountainsides. And, I hate to see that.
That's not what they do, though.
No, I'm talking about like coal mining and
yeah,
and pits like that.
They make them whenever they frack and they're done. The very last step of fracking is you'll see everybody out there in the fields. I've seen videos of it, and they all have magnets, big, huge magnets on wheels, and they just walk around picking up every little scrap of metal that you could think of. And whenever they leave, they have to leave the place better than it was. So
right,
they have to trees and the whole 9 yards, everything you can't know that anything happened there by the time they leave it.
Right, but sometimes they'll take the entire side of a mountain out.
Oh, it messes stuff up. It messes up people's water more than anything. It contaminates people's well water. That's some of the biggest issues.
Do you remember that Tennessee River that got dumped in a couple of years ago and completely polluted this river? Type it into your Google. Tennessee River polluted by, I believe it was, I want to say coal, but I'm not 100%. All the waste. It was disgusting. Like a pristine river, just orange.
By a company or what?
Yeah, by a company.
Let's see if we can find something. 3M plant in Decatur, Alabama. No, that's not Tennessee. Oh, it is the Tennessee River. Okay. The 3M plant. 3M is a company that makes they make like tape. They
earplugs in case you haven't,
safety
gotten
devices.
The notification that you can sue them if you were in the military and used their earplugs.
So it says the 3M plant in Decatur, Alabama legally dumped toxic PFAS into the Tennessee River for decades. The chemicals were used to make Scotchgard and Teflon. 3M knew of the toxicity of the PFAS to humans and fish since 1978, but did not disclose their findings or discontinue dumping the chemicals in the river.
And this is a major corporation, and they're still in business. How is that possible?
That's a multinational corporation.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the biggest corporations in the world.
Yeah, they're insane.
It's so big that it's like doesn't grow anymore. It's that big. It's like a Google. You know what I mean? It's tapped out its market. It just keeps making more stuff and putting it out. But there's basically more people in the world have to get money to you know what I mean? It's one of those type of situations where their only new customers now. That's where Facebook is facing too. Facebook's only new way that it's growing is it's tapping into the third world. People are getting their first phones, and Facebook's already downloaded on it.
So I have a link to a judge's Zoom, the one I was listening to the Sonoma Hells Angels trial on. And Facebook is suing a smaller company right now, a digital company. I'm waiting to see what that's all about. But these big corporations, bro, they're out of control. It's insane. And the small companies, they can't thrive anymore.
Oh no, everything's been up. Everything's been snatched up. They're snatching up all the land too. Bill Gates and all these assholes. It's like all owned, dog. The price of everything everywhere. They bought Montana. That's a quiet little secret that nobody knows about is that all the elites, they bought Montana, dog, and they go up there. That's where the Fed has its meetings. The Federal Reserve.
Really?
Yeah, they have what's the name of the city? I'll remember the name of the city. There's a beautiful, beautiful city up there, and it's $1 million a home type place, basically to live in the city. That's where they have their Jackson Hole.
Oh, I've heard it's beautiful in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, well, they thought so too. Bill Gates and all them thought so too, so they bought it all up. And so now all the houses cost $1 million plus, and this is where the elites go to. This is where they go to talk about things and stuff like that, because you just can't be there. If you don't have the money, you just can't be there. You know what I mean? And
so I need to get a little property in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, then.
Do it. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Strange. I need to move out of this expensive city, but I'm too broke to leave. Yeah.
It's a trap. It's like being in the budget suites.
I'm not going to lie to you. If I could go back 60 days or 90 days, I wouldn't have signed this lease. I just would have went to Weevy's. I'd be on the side of a mountain in West Virginia right now. And I might do that in 10 months whenever my lease is up.
Yeah, I mean, but you were looking, you got your master's program coming up and all of that.
I've been accepted into one. The other one hasn't gotten back to me yet, and I haven't really made the decision about what I'm going to do, so I don't know if I'm going to or not. I might.
I mean, a master's is nice, and if you continue your education, then you don't ever have to pay your student loans off, as long as you just keep pushing further.
Yeah, that is one thing. It will keep the government off me as far as payments are concerned, as long as I keep going to school. So
they're gonna come for that money. They're gonna come hard for that money too. They're gonna turn where they promised everybody that they would get rid of their student loans into strict enforcement of people not paying their student loans.
Oh, nothing's changed. That was just a whole bunch of hullabaloo from Biden. None of that was real. That was all smoke and mirrors, dog. Nothing's changed. They want their bread, homie.
Yep.
They'll ruin your credit score if you don't give it to them.
Listen, I just got the notification on my email saying that, your student loans are going to start back up in, I don't know when.
Did they say so?
See you there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's coming. I got a couple more months.
Roy Romer?
Who?
Roy Romer fought our drilling contractors daily for the right to lease and drill. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live out there long term. I wouldn't want to go to West Virginia long term, but it sounds nice for a year. It sounds nice for a year.
I think everybody should move around the country.
It's a beautiful country, and there's so much to it. There's so much to it, and it's so much different. Like going from like Arizona or Nevada to like out there to where you are, or up to, it's just a completely different planet. You know, most countries aren't this big. Most of the countries on the planet aren't this big, and they don't get stuff like this. You know, Germany's got some plains. It's got some forests. We got forests, plains, swamps, whatever you, Alaska. We got
desert.
Islands. We got, we got everything. We got tropical shit, like subtropical shit. We got all kinds of cool shit, you know? So,
for now.
I still can't buy a mattress on credit. Still trying to get that gas card.
That's horrible, bro.
That's funny.
It's good to have a credit card. I'm about to open a credit card for myself. It's just got to be one of those secured ones. Like, oh, I send you the money. Like what?
I need to get my what you call right. I need to get up to date on my bills. I'm still behind on a bunch of bills.
Well, let's pull somebody up if they want to come up and talk.
Anybody wants them? Yeah.
Let me fill my soda up again.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go get what's called. I think I'm gonna go get Dollar Scoop tonight. I think I talked myself into it. Dollar Scoop's bomb, homie. Them Chinese be getting down. They keep that stuff fresh too. Travel, why stay in one place? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so beautiful. This country's so beautiful. It's like, I don't know. West Virginia was very beautiful. I drove through West Virginia. I spent a day in West Virginia, in Morgantown, West Virginia. And I spent the day driving around there. I swear to God, it's the steepest hills I ever seen in a city in my life. I never seen nothing like it. Like if you would have lost your basketball is gone. It's not coming back. Like everything is a hill in Morgantown, West Virginia. And that's not even the really mountainous part. I don't think that's like the city. That's like the capital city or some shit like that. And all of it is mountains everywhere.
That's a college town, right?
Yeah, I think that is where West Virginia U is. I think you're right. Yeah, because we drove by it. You drive by it as you're driving by on the highway, and you can see the big sign that says WVU. It's like in the side of a mountain. It's like they've spray painted it or something like that. You know what I mean? Like the side of the field, and then you can see the football field there. Like you could literally, like as you're driving by, you could watch the football game from the highway. Like you can actually see the field. It's pretty. I mean, you'd be driving by, but it was a cool city. It was a really cool city. I don't think I'd want to live there because you're fucking hoofing it. Like it would be a 2-block walk to the store. It's either getting you coming or it's getting you going. Either you're going downhill initially and then you're coming back up, or because everything is a hill.
You ain't got to tell us. We've just fallen down those hills a few times. Went down one time in on a lawnmower. Because, you know, driving your lawnmower to the 7-Eleven for a pack of smokes is the thing to do in West Virginia.
I get it. My dad used to send me on one in California before I had my license. He'd send me on the tractor, which was just a lawnmower. It was a lawnmower, had a little thing on the back, a little trailer on the back. And I'd drive it down the hill. 10 miles an hour. I'd go to the store, load up with groceries, come back. That's out in the sticks in California. California used to be different back then, man. It was a lot different.
Man, what was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about tonight? Shit, I can't remember. It had to do with Biden. Yeah. We'll save it for Sunday, I guess.
Yeah. I lived in 6 different states, including West Virginia.
Shoot, I've lived in Tennessee, Washington State, North Carolina, Mississippi, Nevada, Illinois, Texas, California, Florida.
Yo, yo, yo.
I don't know if I'm missing anything else. I think that's it. 9 states.
What's up?
Oh, Arizona. What's up,
You know
bud?
what you said about what's up, man? Genghis was talking about when he was in Morgantown, everything was on a hill, right? Like either which. So if you're on foot, right, no matter where you go, pretty much, right, at least 90% of the time, no matter where you go, you're going to be walking up a hill one way or the other. If you go down it, you got to come back up it. But there's a hill in town here where I live at, right? And I've usually mostly all my life owned like 5 speeds, whatever, manual transmissions. And if you don't know how to drive one, man, on this one hill that you go to, bro, you're either going to hit somebody or whatever. You better know how to drive one if you're going to drive one around here, basically. But,
roll back into somebody.
yeah, man. If you know how to ride that clutch right, you never even have to let it out. You can just hit the gas and go. But
yeah.
Some people's never even drove a manual.
You can take off in second if you need to.
Yeah, but my mom, she wouldn't let me get my license till I learned to drive a manual. So
that's what good. I learned in one. My mom learned in her dad's truck, and then I learned in my mom's car. There was a manual.
Which, like, I learned when I was like 13, though. So 12.
I learned on a stolen car.
Yeah, that worked too.
1995 Ford Taurus SHO had like the 5.0 engine in it. But
yeah,
it was
little body kit on it.
Stick.
Yeah. Hey, those were pretty fly cars at the time, no lie.
It turned me on to them. I was like, Jesus.
Wasn't that a Yamaha engine? Yamaha engine.
It possibly was, probably. Yeah.
In the SHO? I don't think so. I think it had the 4.6 engine that they were putting into the Mustangs.
My SHO said Yamaha on the side of it.
What year was it?
98.
Yeah. I don't know. This was a 94, and it had the V8 in it. 94, 95.
Mine wasn't that big. Let's see what you got. Yeah, yours had a bigger engine than mine. My engine.
I didn't know they ever put a V8 in them. I thought the SHOs were just the big 6 cylinders with the
super high output. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was the Bonneville SSEI. We stole one of those, and they're supercharged.
Mm-hmm.
Those things were gangster, bro.
Look, I about bought one, dude. They flew, bro. They would roll. And plus, they're tough cars, man.
Right. There were sleeper cars. I had what was that? Like a Chrysler Sundance.
Mm-hmm.
But they put out a certain amount that Shelby had gotten a hold of. You can look them up.
No, I remember them.
And it was turbo.
Yeah.
And I bet that little car, I never ran it on the track or nothing, but I can almost guarantee you that little car probably did 13s. It was nuts.
Yeah, I remember them.
It was quick as hell for a stupid little Sundance.
Yeah.
I bet it's doing high 13s. I want to pull that up and find out exactly what they said it was doing.
Only thing about them 80s and 90s model Chryslers, man, they didn't last for shit. That they were junk cars back then. I mean, they made some of them that were good to start off with, but they didn't last long.
Saturns too. Remember Saturns?
Yeah, I remember the Saturns. I'm gonna tell y'all what, I bought a Metro for like $200 off this dude. Right, it had 12-inch rims on it, and I just bought it because he was selling it so cheap, and it ran. Right. But in the snow, and I had to weld one of the door hinges up on it, but that was no big deal. I didn't even know how to weld. I just blobbed it on there. It worked. Right. Yeah. And, man, I'm going to tell you what, that car would go places you'd never imagine it go, man. And hell, the lady I sold it to her for $300 because it was my homeboy's mom, right? And she was still getting a deal. And, she drove it for at least 6 years after I got rid of it to her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I have all the faith in the world in those cars.
One of the biggest mistakes I ever made, I had a 98 Geo Metro that I bought with 120,000 original miles on it. And this is just a couple years back. I bought it about 10 years ago. It was my first car whenever I got my life together, right? I bought this little Geo Metro. I drove that thing for like 7 years until my brother's car fell apart. And I sold it to him for a couple $100, and he ended up wrecking it on the highway. And one of the worst mistakes I ever made. I loved that car. It had 160,000 miles and was running fantastic. I bought it for $400 and 2 bottles of cologne.
Yeah.
And drove it for 7 years, dog.
Listen, if anybody ever comes across this car, you let me know if it's for sale.
Rick,
I would love to own
What
this
is
car
that, an
again.
MR2?
That's a Sundance.
That's the Chrysler Sundance that I had.
Okay.
And
I want you to tell me what the cheap version of that car is, the base model. Because like a Horizon or something, my mom had one, bought one brand new. That's the awfulest car she ever bought. It was raggedy.
Chrysler
Brand.
Sundance. Chrysler and Buick.
Hers was a Dodge version.
So this was Chrysler, but Shelby got a hold of these.
Hell, I got it. Never mind.
And Shelby took a 2.2 engine that was putting out 110, and in a conversation he was having, he's like, we could probably almost get 500 horsepower out of this engine if we wanted to. But I mean, they didn't go that hard, but they turboed it. Oh,
you remember the Chrysler Conquest?
No.
Oh, they were sweet, man. Mitsubishi made a version of them. Dodge made a version of them, and Chrysler made one. You need to look it up.
You know what a Dodge Charger 2.2 is?
No.
Nobody knows one of the. I had one of those. My pops gave me one. And that shit didn't even have a windshield, dog.
I bet it was like a 82 or 83 or something, huh? When they were trying to make smaller engines into muscle cars, and they really shit the bed on it.
Watch, it was
or
cool,
70s actually.
It was a cool little car. It was really small, like closer to like I don't know, almost like a Corvette or something, like a little cheap Corvette. Watch, I'll pull one up.
I'm trying to figure out the name of that.
It looks more like an old Mustang almost, actually, now that I look at it. Let's see. We'll pull one up right here. Let's see. Bam. I had one of these, but it didn't have a windshield. I was still driving a bitch around, though. Boom. It was that color, too.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
That's like the
Okay,
LeBaron.
I remember them, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
One. My dad gave me one, but it didn't have no windshield. And it didn't have a muffler, so it was super loud. And you'd be driving, and it'd be like, whoa, crazy. And it would make it seem like you were going all fast because there was no windshield, so you'd be getting all the wind in your face, but you were only going like 15 miles an hour.
There's a lot of engine space in the front of that.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you what I was talking about. That Conquest. It was turbo. One of my buddies had one. He had gotten a wreck, man, and he got a big insurance check and bought one cash, man. Then he wrecked it. But
Misty said Hellcats. I'm getting a Hellcat, a red eye. I promise you that.
You couldn't hardly give some of that Dodge back in the 80s.
YouTube is going to buy me a red eye Hellcat.
Remember Al Bundy's Dodge?
Yeah.
Oh, the Dustin.
Freaking Dodge.
The ugliest. Oh. You know, they came out with the ugliest colors back then, bro. That split pea green and...
We had one of those. I had a Mercury. We had a 69 Mercury that was that color. Uglier than hell.
Oh.
Yeah, they used to make fun of me. They used to make fun of me for that car. It's a classic now.
I had a friend who had an old Dodge in high school, and it would not start unless he slapped it at the exact spot on the dashboard every time.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't start, but he slapped the dashboard and it'd start right up. It was the weirdest thing.
Hey, Rick, Get back on your little device and look up the Conquest.
Conquest.
Like,
What
I
year?
want you've seen these cars. Just type in
Okay.
just type in the Dodge was the Conquest. Now I'm trying to figure out which one the Chrysler was. There was a Chrysler, a Dodge, and a Mitsubishi. You know, they made the same thing.
Yeah, they were all on that. They did the Eclipse,
The Eclipse like
the
that.
Laser, and the Talon.
And Talon, yeah.
Oh, those are dope, bro.
Oh man, they will roll. There's the yellow one sitting down at the hill. These people, man, I'm pretty sure they've never sold a single car off of this lot. It's been there 14 years, right? I'm pretty sure they use it to launder money because I called the lady that owned it Sweaty Betty, right?
Bro,
But,
I'd own that. I'd own that. Those are sick.
oh yeah, and they'll run too, bro. But there's a yellow one at the bottom of my hill, man, at that car lot, dude. And it's just sitting there, and it's been sitting there forever. And I hate to see cars like that go to waste, man. And they won't sell it to you. You know what I mean?
You asked them?
Huh? Yeah, I've tried to buy it off of them 100 times when I've had money.
It was the Stereon. That's what that is. It's a Stereon or a Conquest TSI.
Okay. But I know there was another. I can't remember the other one.
I'm looking. It's a turbo. Wow, how much does the guy want for it?
They won't even give you a price on it. They won't even sell it. But
suckers.
I'm gonna tell you what though, one of these days something's gonna have to be done with those cars. They're not gonna be able to sit there just forever. But I want it so bad, man. It's a car worth
Pee Wee was telling me that in Nevada there was a guy who had a whole bunch of old cars out in front of his house. And Pee Wee had stopped by and said, you know, hey, I'll buy this old piece of shit body off of you for like $1,000 or something. And the dude's like, no, I need 1,500. And Pee Wee's like, get the fuck out of here, you know? And then he saw it for sale for $1,000. And Pee Wee came back and the dude said, no, they put the wrong price. I need 15 for it. And then the city had served the guy a notice for having a junkyard in his yard and ended up taking like 70 cars off this dude's yard and billed the guy like 70 grand or something. And Pee Wee was mad because he was like, he should have just sold me that car for $1,000, you know? There's people like that. They'll just let it rot in front of them instead of sell it. Bastards. I love turbos. I'd go buy
me
that.
too, man. But I haven't asked them in about a year and a half about that car. But I'd like to go down there and talk to them. If you can get by the dogs to talk to the people. I'm sure if you threw a pack of bologna or something out there, hold them
That's the problem. I mean, yeah.
Did I just see something saying that Bud Light's partnering with Harley Davidson?
So I saw that. I haven't watched it yet, but I just saw a video on one of those channels that said, is Harley pulling? Can you pull that up? Can we watch it right now?
They're taking all the dude stuff from us.
They said that Harley is basically taking the same route as Bud Light and Sports Illustrated just did, which makes
so
me
they
think,
want to go broke too, huh?
Listen, if Harley does that, I'll never buy a Harley. Like, why are they doing this? Like, they're taking anything that is strictly for men and they're turning it into this.
They're trying to take people's manhood away from them, bro.
It's insane. Lilith, I'm thinking about a Vulcan. Since Gary turned me off to the Indians.
Here we go.
I was going to buy an Indian.
Let's check this out.
Oh boy.
We can't. I don't know who this dude is, so I don't know about copyright. So we're not going to do this for too long. But we're gonna.
Okay. No, as long as we're talking about it.
We're reviewing it, and
yeah.
Going woke. There's no more debate on this. From teaming with Budweiser, they got a new Budweiser can with all this stuff going on with Dylan Mulvaney. They decided to team up with Budweiser. They have an LGBTQ member, somebody that got a lot of love for Queen Sit official.
We'll just pause it every few minutes so we can talk about it, and that covers us for the copyright.
All right.
I'll fight it. So this is Demon Row. Demon's Row?
yeah, I know the dude.
I think he's an ex-Mongol.
Yeah,
And he has a channel, pretty big channel. That's
it's a
probably
big channel.
So basically it looks like what? Harley is making a Budweiser can. And it's going to cause Harley backlash. Like, it's possible. Play it? Yeah, let's see.
Official rap on this 120th anniversary of Harley Davidson. They have Green Day as the lead act who revoked their U.S. citizenship. We're going to break it all down on this episode of Demons Row TV. And oh, yeah, we ghosting, baby.
Now, I didn't know Green Day revoked.
That was over the Trump shit.
Oh, they were going to go to Canada with Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, blah blah blah. With that, that's why I quit liking Green Day at all. I really never liked them anyway. I liked a couple of their songs.
Yeah, I'm not big on Green Day. Blink 182 was better. There, I said it.
I was big on Green Day. I met the drummer. They were big where I was from. They were big in the community in the Bay Area. The drummer's father was actually my father's boss. He owned a logging company, something like that. He was, and I don't know if he owned it or something like that. But yeah, I actually got to meet the dude. I got to have lunch with the dude. They found out I was fans of him.
So Gary says he's a thug rider, not a Mongol, or was, or is. I don't know.
I thought he was a Mongol.
They're the ones who just had it out with that other club. Somebody came and shot up their Mother's Day thing.
Mario says Weevy's microphone's too loud.
Can you turn me down, or you want me to turn it down?
Just take your face away from the screen.
Okay.
Just back up. That's all you gotta do.
Oh, Weevy, I love you, man. I really do. He said, "Oh yeah, my bad."
We don't think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't think about it whenever you're doing it. Yeah, but it's like, oh, what? Oh yeah. Yeah, I grew up listening to Green Day. I was a big fan of Green Day. Some clubs are Harley bikes only. Yeah, I do remember that because I can remember my mom worked for State Farm, and she was making fun of one of my cousins because that fool wanted it to be dead set serious that his bike was a Harley. So he had to put it on the title that it said Harley Davidson, but it wasn't a Harley Davidson. And it was worth more. Whenever it ended up getting stolen, it was worth way more. It would have been worth way more because it was a custom build.
Did it have like a custom frame with a Harley motor on it, or engine rather?
Yeah, well, and they could have put it as, they would have insured it for more as a custom build, but he wanted it to be a Harley, so they had to tie it to the value of a Harley. And so he ended up getting way less for it whenever it ended up being stolen. And it was all because he wanted to look good around his biker friends. He didn't want anybody to know that it wasn't really a Harley.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Demon wrote. Obviously, we kind of get the gist of it right now.
Let's see if he's talking.
The holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle and motorcycle club involved. I'm Sos the Ghost. I'm your host for the evening, turning themselves in to the new Bud Light. Harley Davidson. Listen, there's so many things on this list right here that we're going to break down that they're doing. They have proved that they are official.
that's that music might be copyrighted, and he's going pretty hard with that.
Yeah. We'll come back and talk about it. I've talked to this dude in the background a little bit. I don't know. They see me coming.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it this week, my friends. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's
All right. Just want to
Absolutely.
figure out how to turn my mic down. All right, guys.
Are you going live? Are you going live, my wife?
I am, but Anna's going to for a little while, and I'll probably be after her.
Yep. Drop Anna's link,
Anna's
guys.
link. Can you drop your link real quick, Anna? If you can. If not, I'll drop it. But if you can, drop it real quick.
Hey, Gangish, I was going to let you know something, bro. If you decide to come out this way and you need a spot to kick it for a month or two or whatever, $100 for the upstairs and it's yours.
Yeah.
Damn, the whole upstairs?
Yeah, I mean, we got to share the shitter, but you know what I mean? We're good.
Yeah, I might take you up on, like I said, if I could go back 90 days, I'd be there. If I could, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be a fast 10 months for you anyway, you know?
I think it is. I keep myself busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a lot going on. That's, you know,
Hey,
we
plus
got.
we could do some in-house stuff. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, all right, my friends. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you for another episode of Culture War Vultures. I'm Gangish. Tap in.
That's
Hey,
right.
thank y'all for having me.
Take it easy, guys. VPS.
See everybody on Wednesday.
All right. Later, y'all.